standards and practices?
Yes.
Okay. Why all of a sudden is the sketch dirty?
Child molestation is a touchy subject with the affiliates.
Read the papers. Half the country's doing it.
Yes, but you name names.
We don't name names. We say the Pope.
We always
That
say
sketch cannot go on the air.
Hey!
Don't forget the poem on page 112. It reminded me of you.
Really? Oh.
Page 112.
Bye.
Bye.
Your slightest look easily will unclose me. Though I have closed myself as fingers, you open always, petal by petal, myself, as spring opens, touching skillfully, mysteriously, her first rose. I do not know what it is about you that closes and opens. Only something in me understands. The voice of your eyes is deeper than all roses. Nobody, not even the rain, has such small hands.
Will you? Your whole life you run to doctors. The news is always fine. Oh, that's not true. What about years ago?
I'm sorry to say, Mr. Sachs, that you cannot have children.
Gee.
Is there no chance?
Well, naturally, this doesn't mean that you can't have a normal sex life, but Mr. Sachs' tests indicate that he is infertile. Small sperm volume and infertile.
Wasn't there anything I can do? Push-ups or hormones?
I'm afraid not.
Well, I gotta get a second opinion.
This is the second opinion.
Well, then a third opinion.
I realize this is a blow. My experience is that many very fine marriages become unstable and are destroyed by an inability to deal with this sort of problem. I hope you won't make too much of it. One can adopt children, and there are various artificial methods of fertilization.
I'm so humiliated. I don't know what
Could
to
you
say.
have ruined yourself somehow?
How could I ruin myself?
I don't know.
Ruin myself?
Excessive masturbation?
Hey, you gonna start knocking my hobbies? Jesus. Maybe you can adopt a child. You said you could adopt
Well, what
one.
about artificial insemination?
What are you talking about?
You know what? I would get implanted from
What,
a
by a
donor.
stranger?
Yeah, they have these banks, you know, where they keep them frozen.
You want a defrosted kid?
I
Is
want
that your
to
idea?
experience childbirth.
With a stranger?
Just think about it. That's all I ask.
Got him.
Hi, how's she
I'm
doing?
glad to see you. She's in the kitchen there. It's the same thing. Same thing. She promises. It's all lies.
Don't make
Always.
it worse, Dad. Hi, Mom. How you doing? Let me get you some coffee. That's enough of that. What triggered it?
We were making a commercial down at the mayor's office, and there was this young, good-looking salesman, and your mother was throwing herself at him in a disgusting way. And when she found she was too old to seduce him, that he was just embarrassed by her.
Liar! Liar!
And at lunch, she got drunker and drunker, and finally she became Joan Collins.
All my life, I've had to put up with insults from this non-person, this haircut that passes for a man. It could never support us. It's a good thing we had a talented daughter.
I can only hope that she was mine. With you as her mother, her father could be anybody in Actors Equity.
She's talented, so it's unlikely she's yours.
Dad, could you just please stay in the other room and let me take care of her?
You never know when she's gonna fall off the wagon and humiliate everybody.
Here, Mom, drink this. You know you're awful. You probably were flirting.
No. I like to joke around and have fun, and he gets angry because I get the attention. He's gotten sour as he's gotten older, and I've tried to stay young at heart.
You promised to stay on the wagon.
The sacrifices I've made because of that man. He's ruined me with his ego, his philandering, his mediocrity.
Okay, stop being so dramatic.
He's the one that's laid every ingenue in stock.
Okay.
They wanted me for screen tests.
Yeah, I know.
But I knew that he'd get up there and he'd flounder around with his expensive haircuts and hairdos and clothes, and he's all show. Now, how could you act when there's nothing inside to come out?
She was so beautiful at one time, and he was so dashing. Both of them just full of promise and hopes that never materialized. And the fights and the constant infidelities to prove themselves and blaming each other. It's so sad. They loved the idea of having us kids, but raising us didn't interest them much. But it's impossible to hold it against them. They didn't know anything else.
You know, of all of us in the family, you were the one blessed with the true gift.
My true gift is luck, Mom. I just had a lot of luck for my first show, you know? I've always thought Lee was the one destined for great things.
Yes, she is lovely, but she doesn't have your spark. She knows it. She worships you. She wouldn't dare get up there on stage.
If you could believe I have such
I've got to be
feelings.
honest with you. I've met someone else. I've met someone else. I told you I wasn't going to wait forever.
It hasn't been forever.
It's been nearly a year since our first time, and you're still married to my sister, which I now realize is fine because you're probably much more in love with her than you know.
Yeah, but we made so many plans.
Yeah, for sure we did, and in a way you led me on because I truly believed you were unhappy with Hannah. Otherwise, I would never have let myself be drawn in. I was very weak. So were you. Now I've met someone else. Dinner soon?
About 15 minutes.
Ah, good.
And you're in love overnight.
I care a great deal about him, yes. Now, it's over, Elliot. I mean it. It's over.
Holly or Lee, about us, about our personal life?
Me? Of course not.
There's things Holly wrote about in her script about us that are so personal, they can only have come from you.
Look, I've got a splitting headache, and I don't like being accused.
I'm not accusing, I'm asking. Do you find me too giving, too competent, I don't know, disgustingly perfect or something?
No.
Well, what is it then? What's come between us? How have I alienated
Hannah,
you?
my head is throbbing.
You never want to talk about it. Every time I bring it up, you change the subject. What is it? We're communicating less and less. You sleep with me less and less?
Hannah, I am very mixed up now, please.
Do you talk to Holly or Lee behind my back? Do you? You must. They seem to know so much about us.
Well, maybe I've asked advice once or twice, or made a joke.
Well, what do you do? Do you talk to Holly or Lee or what? Do you phone them?
Leave me alone, can you? Jesus, I've told you. I need someone I can matter to.
You matter to me completely.
It's hard to be around someone who gives so much and needs so little in return.
So look, I have enormous needs.
Well, I can't see them, and neither can Lee or Holly.
You know, I was talking to your father before, and I was telling him that it's ironic. I used to always have Thanksgiving with Hannah, and I never thought that I could love anybody else. And here it is years later, and I'm married to you, and completely in love with you. The heart is a very, very resilient little muscle. It really is.